All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM. Happy Monday. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving to all who celebrate. And yeah, hopefully should be a relatively interesting trading day here. But maybe not expecting too many fireworks, right? All things considered. So Friday, pretty chaotic session, right? With Trump tariff announcements and a bunch of headlines basically dropping that created quite the sell-off event. One of the largest liquidation events in crypto history, probably the largest liquidation event in crypto history. So quite a lot of like blood in the water type thing, and a little bit of a muted overnight reaction here so far. Base expectation here today, right, is a day of consolidation. That's the most likely outcome, where the implied open is, even at this point, right, is in approximately the middle of Friday's range. So we're going to have a lot of work to do before we have quote unquote trending conditions here again. And it's going to be, I think, reasonable to be a little bit patient and deliberate here this morning, just to kind of see how the dust settles, see where things kind of shape up, and then go from there. I think the thing to focus on, excuse me, the thing to focus on this morning, and I would say this week in general, is our job, right, isn't to make to be correct or to predict what the market is going to do, or anything along those lines. Like, I'm not here to anticipate the next thing Trump is going to tweet. I don't particularly care. All I am here for is to make money, protect my money, right? And to put myself in situations where those are the two most likely outcomes for me and my trading. So being very deliberate, right, is going to be the key here. The other objective, right, is to not abandon common sense. We've seen too much chasing emotional decision making, rushing into things just because we want to feel alive, and that's not a way that you actually make any money long term. So today, right, is really about controlling the variables I can't control, understanding that, hey, it's probably going to be a pretty quiet session, and making sure that we don't get stuck in like a backwash basically of volatility, and get crushed trying to trade our opinions. So I think what we've done very well in the last, I think, month or so, have done a very good job of keeping our losers really small, right? So keeping our risk tight, risk of 5, 10, 15 points on NQ, and 15 would even be on the very upper end. And we've done a very good job here of closing as our P&L is increasing, and making sure that we're locking in gains. I had a bunch of comments from people here this weekend about trades that they took on Friday, or setups that they took throughout the remainder of the week. And the difference between the trades that they took with me versus the trades that they took by themselves were very dramatic, right? People would abandon their strategy in the pursuit of P&L, and that is completely unacceptable. And it's certainly not how you make any money long term. So be deliberate, guys, right? Be specific with what you're looking for, work backwards to specific entry prices, and understand that no matter what technique you use, there are going to be pros and cons to it. Obviously, I made the video on this last week about, if you're waiting for me to say that I'm in a trade, wait till you hear my price and then look to get my price or better. Don't just click submit the second I say that I'm in a trade, because we may no longer be taking the same setup with the same risk parameters and have the same risk tolerance available. And that has the potential to really exaggerate your losses and to make your wins significantly smaller. So if you want to, wait for my vocal confirmation or verbal confirmation that I'm in. Wait till you actually get the same price, the same retest. You're going to make a lot more money that way. And that's going to be a lot more successful way for you to trade. Now, the con of that, right? You're going to miss some trades. You're going to miss trades that never pull back again and retest your entry price. That's going to happen. There's no solving to avoid that 100% of the time. It does not exist. The way that you avoid that, right, is you choose to use the reference price as your guide and you look for your own entry once we've pulled in. Now, the con of that second strategy, right, is that maybe you're going to get in some entries that I don't get into, or maybe you get an entry that you got a worse price than I did, and you're going to have some P&L suffering there. So you have to choose which pros and cons you're happy to live with, right? We can't solve for 100%. If you're going to wait for me to say that I'm in and then complain that you're missing trades, you're missing the point, right? That is effectively the con or the potential of what's going to happen. If you're going to wait for me to say that or show my reference price, and you're going to look to try to get your entry the same time I get my entry, awesome. But the con of that, right, is that you might potentially be early sometimes, might potentially get trades that I don't get. And that could cost you some P&L here too. So you just have to choose which pros and cons you're happy with, because we can't solve for 100% of them. There's no strategy, technique, or anything along those lines that accounts for every single possible variable. And we need to stop trying to solve for that, because it's going to drive you guys insane. And it's going to drive me insane too, right? Because it does not exist. We're solving for 70%. So find what 70% you're happy with, pursue it to the best of your ability, collect the data, track it, right? Study it, learn from your mistakes, and decide if you want to continue with that direction. So that's very, very important, guys. I cannot stress that enough. And we need to understand that no technique is perfect. And yeah, it sucks to miss a big trade. And if you hate missing them, then change your technique, right? Very simple. All right. With that being said, let's start mapping things out here a little bit this morning. Let's figure out what we want to do. We obviously still have some, government shutdowns, which is slowing down some of the economic data that is getting released. I'm gonna give this a quick refresh. Fine, nothing too crazy here today. Not really too worried about that. And we'll go from there. The other thing here, guys, right, is yes, markets are open, but it is a bank holiday in the US. I don't necessarily expect it to be low interest from a US perspective, but Canadian banks and Canadian traders are going to be having their turkey day here today as well. And although that's not like 50% of market volume or anything along those lines, it would not be surprising for us to have a non-outlier volume day. So let's see, what's in store, and then go from there. Again, we're trading the price action that's in front of us, not the price action we want, right? And we're going to take it trade by trade, day by day, and we're going to stick to our system and ignore all the other noise. So, yes, right? Pretty big volume, obviously massive volume. And it's a gap up here, right? So far, green candle overnight. Pretty challenging, I think, for us to have a bullish bias here today, but I think the base expectation here is inside bar setup. I think a little bit less enthusiastic here overnight relative to some of the other really big like capitulation volume bars that we've seen, right? So the last one would have been like Friday, August 1st. Maybe not as enthusiastic here overnight as it was there. The other kind of subsequent, right, was on Friday the 13th. And again, right, pretty big bounce off of those days. So it is reasonable for us to have like a bias in both directions here to a certain extent, but maybe would have expected there to be a little bit of a larger overnight move. Now, with the VIX hanging out at 20, that's not necessarily a huge deal, but it is worth kind of keeping an eye out for. So to the upside here, we're looking at 6,700 as our starting point, right, which is our pre-market high. And then I mean, theoretically, we've got space up to 68. I don't think that's going to happen all in one go. So let's go like 67.50, something like that. To the downside here, right, we're looking at a 66.30. And then we're filling it out to 65.40. So, I mean, again, I don't think we're going to go all the way down there. My base expectation is that markets are going to finish as an inside bar here today. And that's plenty of space. Okay, NQ, a little bit of a maybe bigger overnight move, which is fine. Oops. Okay, and then to the upside here, and targeting 25,000. I don't need to change too much. And then up towards all-time highs, which would be like 25.4. Okay. To the downside here, we're targeting a move down towards 24.5, which actually I've already mapped out. Nice. And then the eventual lows here of 24.1, and then let's call it 24,000. Cool. All right, CL. So red candle, increasing outlier volume, gap up. So 2 out of 3 here to the upside, or sorry, to the downside with volume. And in this context, I have a little bit less reasons to be flexible in both directions. Not quite a capitulation type volume scenario, right? Like we saw in April or June. This looks a little bit more just like trending PA, right? A rejection off of that trend line. So I'd be looking only for a trend continuation move here to the downside. So target here, pre-market lows 59. And then I guess our cap here, right? It's just being aware of that 5% limit. I mean, it's going to give us a lot of space here. We'll say to like 56, right? So we have a bit of space here. And again, right, that's an exchange-based limit. So there's no like hiding from that, I guess, right? Or running from it. And we'll go 56.50. That'll be our kind of cap. So let's see if there is any momentum there. But hopefully we can get ourselves in pretty good shape and take advantage of, whatever volatility is in store here. All right, Apple, 2 out of 3 to the downside with vol. Big gap up. Tesla, same thing, 2 out of 3 with vol. Microsoft, same thing, 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. What the fuck? Okay, Amazon, smallest gap up here so far, but still a 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. Nvidia, same thing. So very consistent narrative across the board, right? Everything is pretty much telling us the same story. Everything is kind of telling us that probably the most likely outcome here is consolidation, right? Because we're opening up near or close to near the implied middle of Friday's ranges. I still got a little bit of a cough, so hopefully nothing too crazy, but we'll be fine. Okay. And then Google, same thing, 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. So let's see what markets have in store for us here today, right? Wouldn't be surprised for today to be like a dead cat bounce, relief bounce type day, right? That wouldn't be super surprising. That's what we've seen post like massive capitulation bars. So let's see if it does come together or if that momentum sort of shapes up. But again, I don't care if I get a trade here today. Not really that important to me. It's about making sure that I get the best quality setup if one does happen, right? So just because Friday was a high volatile day and there was a big sell off and probably saw a lot of big fake screenshots on social media, doesn't mean that we're owed a trade here today. Doesn't mean that we're forced to make a decision here today. Doesn't mean we have to rush into compromising our trading system in the pursuit of P&L. So if you want to get better, you got to control the variables you can't control. You have to choose the game that you're basically trying to compare yourself to, and you got to hold yourself like to a high standard relative to that. Too many sloppy details last week, right? Which are okay when the market's giving us easy follow through and we're getting nice wins, but those details will come back and bite you in the ass the second markets get a little bit more complicated. So don't take last week as a victory lap, right? If you weren't happy with your trade, with how you traded, study your executions, commit to getting better, focus on the variables you can control, and put yourself in a situation where you're improving and hoping that your P&L is going to catch up, not trying to like squeeze as much money out of the market and hoping that your skill is going to catch up to your P&L. Simply doesn't happen that way. Simply, I've yet to see a trader who makes any money through luck that holds on to that money for the rest of their career. It just doesn't happen. So don't trick yourself into thinking that you're going to be the exception to that rule. You're not. I'm not going to be. Mike's not going to be. Patrick's not going to be. Earl's not going to be. So control the variables you can control. Be deliberate. Be precise. And the market will reward you. And that is always something that you can improve and get better at. So take that challenge seriously because it'll make you a lot more money than needing a big, validation from your P&L here today. Not the biggest of opening ranges, not the biggest of opening volume bars. Nothing like egregious, right? A little bit of a divergence between ES and NQ. NQ looking more like a sell, ES looking more like a buy. Personally, I would prefer to place a downside trade here today. That would be the path of least resistance, in my opinion. But let's see if the market wants to cooperate, right? With all of our other tickers pretty much giving us a 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume, we also want to see these stories become consistent across the board if we're going to get a nice story. And so far, right, it's one green candle that looks like ES, one ticker that looks more like NQ. So if I'm already looking at my leading names and I'm using that as like a proxy for what the market is going to tell me here today, I'm being told so far, at least early doors, indecision, right? Or not necessarily be hyper aggressive. So let's see how the day shapes up. Let's see where things kind of creep up or come together. But no compromises here today, team, right? When things get volatile, when the ranges get larger, compromising and cheating yourself of the quality of your process is a surefire way to be a loser and to not walk away with any P&L basically after those environments where there is big money to be made. So please don't try to trade a number here today, and be deliberate with how you're planning on executing your positions. And deliberate, right, with executions is also finding peace with the technique that you're going to use. If you're going to try to be like me and you're going to try to get a discount as big to the reference price, awesome. Embrace that. Hold yourself to that standard. Be accountable to yourself to that. If you're going to wait to hear that I'm in, cool. Embrace that. Hold yourself to that standard. Be accountable to yourself to it. And don't cheat yourself, right, of those skills. It will make you a lot more money than any singular day ever could. And it is not worth compromising or cheating just for the sake of trying to get a quick and easy win. Understood? I'm like, I know you get it. I need everyone else to acknowledge. All right. So let's see what the market's got in store for us here. Decreasing volume on that second candle. So we're probably going to be looking here more at the 5 min in the short term. I don't know if I'd be super interested in, maybe I would be on the 2. In this circumstance, I'd be targeting a move towards 600. Okay, so possible little fake out scenario here again. That's a pretty big risk. So 730, we'll call it to 752. Not super interested in that. It's probably a little bit too much for me to get the sizing that I would like on this. So that's going to be my reason to slow down. Should also mention this here, guys, right? While I have everyone's attention, I will never reach out to you from a different account or different username or anything along those lines with an offer saying that I will trade for you. It's not going to happen, guys. I don't have the legal capacity to be able to pass off all the KYC requirements, to raise capital, and to trade money on someone else's behalf. If someone is sending you messages offering you that, you are going to be scammed. They will take your money, they will run away, and they will not give it back to you. Please, guys, don't fall for that trick. All I trade is what you guys see me trade in here on a daily basis. If I offered copy trading services and all of those other functions, I would not waste my time doing one-on-one calls with you guys or spending all day on the live stream or spending my evenings answering Discord messages about your trading questions. If I offered that service, I would do things much differently. So please, guys, don't fall for that. Discord is not necessarily the best platform in the world because scammers can get easily access to it, right? So just be aware. Have some, please, digital hygiene, and again, please use some common sense. I would not be trading currencies or crypto or these other strategies that I quote unquote don't trade on stream. That is not what I do here. Every trade I take, I show you guys. I walk you through it. I explain. I try to teach you my process. So please, guys, understand that I will never offer any of those types of services. If someone is pretending to be me and offering that, it is a scam. If you want to speak with me, you ever want to talk to me, you book a call, right? Book a one-on-one call. You send me a message. You sanity check that we are sharing the same server and that we are, speaking the same language. But please, guys, be extremely careful about those things. I know there's the lure of the Kovorka, right? To try to like make easy money and quick money and all these sort of things. And people will use my image or the image of other professional traders to try to lure you into thinking that they've got some secret that nobody else has. But that is not the reality. So please, guys, be very, very careful with, the bullshit you fall for online. Can't really trade this on ES yet. And so far, right, nothing has quite told us that it's anything other than consolidation here so far, right? So be patient. Don't feel like you need to force anything or rush anything. That will not make you any extra money long term. Okay, so we could be back in business here on NQ. Yeah, 100%, Kathy, 100%, right? Like, guys, nothing I do here is particularly complicated, right? I know it probably sometimes feels like it is. The complicated part is just being consistent week over week, month over month, trade after trade, right? That's the hard part. Nothing technically is that actually difficult. The hard part is the just consistency of execution. I'm just looking at the first time frame that gives me increasing volume, right? So I could look at a reasonable signal. The 3 min, I have no increasing volume to indicate confirmation. Same thing on the 5. So earlier in the day, right, I'm more likely to get an increasing volume standard on a shorter time frame. So I'm more willing to look at those because that's where I have a more likely setup trigger. Right. So on the 2 min, I've got 2 increasing vol standards that could indicate confirmation. Whereas on the 3 and the 5, I have 0. So it's not necessarily that it's more signals. That's not necessarily the fair assessment. It's just that it's 6:43 or 9:43 in the morning. ES and NQ have been able to cycle through 3 5-min candles, right? Approximately. Whereas I've got way more, right? 2-min. So just the probability of me getting a signal is higher on a shorter term time frame earlier in the day. And all I'm looking for, guys, is what's the first short term time frame that tells me the same plan that I have written out and drawn out on my screen here. I don't care if it's the 5-second, theoretically, or if it's the 4-hour time frame. I'm looking for the first time the market tells me what I thought my daily plan was saying. I'm looking for the short-term time frames, which is everything less than the daily, to tell me the same story as the daily time frame. Okay, unlikely to be increasing here, right? 8K versus 8.2. Same thing on the 2, not increasing. And on the 5, not increasing. Well, no signals here yet. No, 3 min is not increasing, right? Volume of 8K versus previous candle of 8.2. So no, not increasing. This kind of looks like a capitulation volume. Who remembers what the base expectation was for today's trading day? So if we were to say most likely outcome here today, what was it at the start of the day? Yeah, chop, indecision, consolidation, right? Has anything in the first 15 or say 17 and a half minutes told us trend day? No, right? So far our plan has been pretty much spot on, right? It's not maybe the best consolidation prize, but we've got a chance here for a small setup here potentially. So this is now an increasing volume, right? Here's your failed breakout to the downside. Here's your setup candle, and this one's our confirmation. Setup and confirmation are two separate candles because we did not get increasing volume on the first one. Now we're looking at something like this. Now we'd like to see this fake out get established here first. We haven't made a higher high. So for now, we'd be looking at the pullback entry technique. So for our fake out thesis, right, we'd like to see 767 basically get flushed through and then act as support. So we'd like to see price action basically go under, right, and then back up above. If it does that back up above, then we can look for that fake out entry. If it doesn't, no big deal. Main issue that I would say I'm seeing here so far today is just the size, right, of the actual candles versus the implied volatility that's in play here today, right? Having risk of like 30 points is certainly having risk of 30 points, right, per contract is certainly not super interesting, right? It doesn't give me a very good risk reward profile to justify taking a trade. No, Earl, we can trade reversals underneath the opening range, right, to the upper end, i.e. a red to green reversal. And that would be what the ORB fake out is, right? So ORB fake out, then breakout. Those are two separate setups. We're not just looking for move lower and then has to break out above. Once we see the reversal or the strength at those lows, we're more than happy to be able to trade that idea. I would reference the ORB strategy cheat sheet logic from the trading docs. It'll help you visualize that idea better. How's it going, Rusty? All right, so let's see if we can get ourselves a tight risk reward here. A little bit more reasonable. Okay, so stop would be 842.50. Type in as 842 for now. Let's see if it wants to give us a little fake out first, right? I'm in no rush here. All right. I don't know if that made a lower low quite. That's a good bounce. I don't think I'm going to get an entry on this candle here. Maybe I still could. So I'm just going to wait. Even if this thing pulls under my reference price, I'm just going to wait. Not been the most enthusiastic of reactions here yet. I'm still not convinced I've really seen that fake out lower. So let's see if it can pull under 42. Close, 42.75. So this is our moment potentially. There it is. So now we want to see it, right? Get back up above that. And I would say it's been a stairs up, pull back, back up above. Now it's a little bit better. So now stop would be 832, guys. 832. And now let's see if we can get a gentle pullback here. Might have just missed. Okay. We had the right read, just didn't give us an opportunity to enter. That's not a big deal. Nice work, Mike. Like, there's no FOMO here, right? There's no, oh my gosh, I can't believe the market didn't give me an entry. Fuck that self-loathing bullshit. We don't need to make it more difficult for ourselves than this game already is. We've still done nothing, right, to invalidate this candle's confirmation. Fine. And can I get a tight risk reward? We're looking at an 860 stop loss for now. Let's even get a gentle pullback. And I'm not going to chase this, right? If it's not going to give me that pullback, if it's not going to behave exactly how I want, I'll just keep passing on that burden of confirmation to different time frames. And I'm not going to waste my energy on hypothetical gains. Tim, how much risk did you have on that trade? How much risk in dollars? Nice work, Mike. Okay, fine. And guys, I honestly do not give a shit. I have not got a trade here yet. It makes no difference. Okay, so now we're going to be targeting a move towards 25. Let's go on, Ed. If it's just going to squeeze higher, guys, and not give us an entry, that's fine. We can't chase it, right? We can't compromise our rules just to try to feel alive and make some money. Not going to work. So 882 would be the stop loss for now. I'm looking something under 893. And probably the thing that is a little bit concerning here is the volume is drying up pretty aggressively, pretty quickly. So it just adds a little bit of, I don't want to say paranoia, but it would require protect it aggressively. Okay, so let's see here. So there's the first time under. And right now, the thought that's going through my head is basically the first entry I think I have. I can probably still get a better entry price than that. So not being over aggressive here yet. Nice, Rusty. Congrats. Okay, is that the fake out? Or is this now a reversal? I'm going to say this is now a reversal. So our desire to slow down actually probably saved us some money there. Rejected right at 900 or right above 900, but that's still telling. I'm glad we haven't chased yet. And remember, guys, if we don't get a trade, it's not a wasted day. We get paid for our decisions, not our time. Don't confuse the two. So why is this 10 a.m. not a signal to the downside? Why is this candle not a signal to the downside yet? What's missing? Yeah, it's missing volume confirmation, right? ES also under, so no interest. Possibly could trade this on the 5. Whoops. What is this? Okay, so watching here. Yeah, that could be the little fake out there. Okay. Hey guys, I am in 899.25, 899.25. Stop loss 891. There's your retest, right? Oh, there's my stop loss. Possibly try that again. Guys, before I think of anything else, right? Journaling this trade. And I'm not trying to screenshot everything, all this kind of stuff. I'm just the intrusive thought, right, that has in your head. Okay, so why do I think that trade lost? Okay, I thought I saw the fake out, didn't, got stopped out pretty much instantly. So writing that down in my notes. So I'm down about, 360 bucks on the day here so far. Very, very reasonable. Not a big deal. Let's see if this wants to fake first. Have to be like that. I mean, 19 points of risk per contract, which I'm not really super into. Still trying to get a nice tight risk reward here, which I think I've struggled a little bit with some of this price action here so far. This maybe has a chance to give me that tight risk reward. Again, we're targeting 25,000 at this point, right? Because we're holding 24.9. We're looking at something like this, 904 stop loss. Let's see if it gives us a little fake out first. 904. And now we're back to looking at this. Is this going to be the fake out? All right, guys, I'm in 884.75, 3 contracts. There's your retest. Stop loss 873. Okay, let's see if this can keep going. So far, so good. Bit bouncy though. Truth be told, I feel a little bit early on this because it keeps bouncing 5 points, going down 5 points, bouncing 5 points, going down 5 points. Not perfect. There we go. It's a little bit better. Now we'd like to see this thing. Then it goes that 5 points down again right away. Like to see this get over 900. The fact that it's struggling to do so is making me a bit nervous. Like it's frothy, right? At this price level. That's the way it feels. Oh, I just got stopped. Oh, whoa. My loss there was way bigger than it should have been. Very mean. That's quite frustrating. So I lost about $120 more than I should have on that trade. I don't like. I don't like that it did the shakeout and then go as well. That's kind of annoying. All right. Let's see if this fakes out again. No, not yet. Let this candle close, I think. And not a fake out candle. On the 5. Kind of equal move lower, equal move higher, potentially as well. Other than just a general lack of volume on these subsequent candles. Oh, no big deal. Down $980 here so far. Probably shouldn't be that much, but it's all right. Got quite a bit of slippage on my stop loss. Which happens, not the end of the world. All right, so let's see if we can get maybe an outlier volume here on the 2, and then target a move back down towards low of day. Setup here would be fake out higher, right? So this would be your fake out higher setup. This would be your confirmation. So now, right, bias is flipped. We're looking for shorts. Okay, no chance. It's a quick sell-off from 900 to 800, actually. All right, 3 men should give me now we either call this a breakout setup or reversal setup. It's effectively the same. Hmm. And not the greatest close there on the 3, nor the 2. Nice work, Mark. And interesting. Okay, possibly a little fake out setup. All right. You have to be a little bit creative here to a certain extent and basically treat this candle and this candle as one. Okay, is that our, let's see. Okay, so stop would be 822. Short. No longer have the position sizing I want. Let's do it like this. So now stop would be 810. Okay, that's possible fake out. Let's see. Nope. Staying away from this still. Too bouncy. I need to see that elevator down rejection. I'm not really seeing any of them with enthusiasm. It's just a bunch of stairs. And that's stairs down, not elevator down. Annoying. Still hasn't made a lower low, so pullback would still theoretically be in play. Kind of frothy though. Kind of a weird morning, I would say, so far. Yeah, let's see if this is the fake out. Not elevator yet. One, two, three rejections at that 849.50. Okay, there it is again. Yeah. Don't think this will, maybe. All right, so now we're looking for a breakout setup here to the upside. All right, high vol breakout, increasing outlier volume, 3.6 versus 3.57. And see its little turtle head popping out. That probably. All right. Fake out. Ah, it's giving me like a pull back into my zone for like a microsecond. Which is annoying. Basically, it was looked at price, looked at my order window, make sure my stop loss was where I wanted it, looked at price again, 15 points higher. That's like, all right, nothing I can do about that. Just keep resetting, right? What the heck did I just do? Okay, so same thing we're looking for here, right? Fake out first, bounce on the fake out. Yeah, that was a good elevator. Hey guys, I am in 867.25, 867.25. Stop loss 859. There's your retest. I have 3 contracts on this. Mm. Oh, that's not good. There's another retest. You got the juice. Come on. Okay, that's better. That's better. This is bouncy as heck, though. Now I'm just watching how this candle closes, right? Strong candle shape. There we go. It's a nice pop. All right. Give me one more decent pop here. We can get towards 900. Love to see it hold 80. That should put you green on the day. Give me one more decent pop here, please. S'il vous plaît. Come on. Nice work, guys. Nice work. Whoa. All right, well, I got to close this, guys. I'm out. That was quite the little FU rejection. Out at 71. Ugh. Good thing we closed where we did. Annoyed I couldn't get that to hold above 80. This candle gave me everything I wanted. Oh, fine. Well, yeah, once you get that big rejection, Kobe, you know, like you've gotten separation away from your price and then it pulls back towards your entry price. That's not a good sign. That's not a strong trade. Got to get out, right? You can't have hopium there. That's just going to cost you money. Okay, made back a little bit here, but let a green day not finish green. Working man's day. Yeah, that like hit a wall and flushed. Nice work, Earl. Can't play that as a breakdown, not increasing outlier. Yeah, down like $500 here now on the day. But should have been green, for sure. Should have been green. That's a little bit sloppy. Well, look, I say it's sloppy. I followed my rules there really well, right? Once I get separation away from my trades, I'm looking for three things. So I'm looking for strong candle shape, increasing volume, right, and holding higher highs. This candle gave me all three of those elements. You know, I theoretically should have nothing to really be afraid of there. A little bit unlucky, but that's all right. Oh, 470 on that, effectively just a 1R win. Lame. And yeah, I didn't do a very good job there closing as my P&L is increasing, and that is why I'm still red on the day. So self-inflicted gunshot wounds, no one to blame but myself. It's not the market, it's always me. That was pretty nasty. All right, still one trade away, no complaints. How's everyone feeling? Everyone feeling okay? You're back to like 100-point range since 10:30. I don't know, Mark. I have no idea. Honestly, I don't care. The market is always normal, right? So, um, headlines push price in the path of least resistance, not the other way around, in my opinion. So, I truthfully don't care. Even without following the news, the volume would have told me on Friday that it was a short, right? So, it really makes it, I really don't care. Nice work, Kiki. Great way to celebrate Thanksgiving. Look, I want you guys all to remember this day very carefully, right? Because the vast majority of the team is green while I am red. No one ever complains when that happens, right? But people complain when it's the other way around in those rare circumstances. So I want you guys just to remember today, right? And remember why you're green here today when I'm red, because you guys were making good selfish decisions. Right? So important for us to have realistic expectations, guys, of what's realistic. I know everyone wants to copy me and all that kind of stuff, and it's great, right? That's the objective. I want you guys to all be able to profit while you learn. But the more you make it your own, the more you're going to make. Okay, so now we're looking downside setup here. It moves so freaking fast. Really annoying. All right, we'll maybe wait for this on the 3. But just as a reminder, guys, like when I have a green day and someone made $200 less, I gotta spend 45 minutes in DMs explaining the difference of entries. Right? When I have a red day and everyone else is green, no one asks for an explanation. Now let's see if this is the fake out. Oh no, I mean, I'm not complaining, but I want people to understand, right, that this is just the reality of making trading decisions. And the more you try to think for yourself, the more you're going to make. But if everything has to be a referendum on your ability to make money in the future, you're fucked. No offense. Gosh, nothing wants to give me an entry. So mean. Okay, still looking here. 891 would be the stop. Oh, 791. Whoops. Thanks. Yeah, I looked at my risk and I had $64,000 worth of risk. I was like, oh, this is off. So watching here. It doesn't really want to give me an entry. Annoying. Yeah, let's watch here. You want to see the fake out now above this. I'm almost like a little bit shocked I've been able to find more entries to a certain extent. Yeah, still possibly interested here. $7.76. Want to give me okay, on business here. Can't even set it up before it flushes. 759 for now. All right, guys, I'm in short 751 on the dot. There's your retest. Actually, might be kind of a shit entry. Oh, I got stopped out. That might be the fake out though, right there. Fuck. 762. I just wasn't patient enough. All right. Well, I'm back in short 756. Stop loss 62. And let's see if it can go. There's your retest again. All right, so let's see if this thing flushes. Come on. Got to get through 750 with some enthusiasm. Come on, flush, baby. Not quite sure why my stop loss didn't trigger. I thought I saw a price above it. So I am out, guys. I am out. I'm not quite sure why my stop loss didn't quite trigger where I expected it to. I did get a fill in the end, but not at 762. I got a fill at 764. It's 2 times I've seen some nasty slippage now. All right, I got maybe one more in me here. But I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed with these, with the froth. Okay, so this would be a long setup here now. A bouncy fucking mark. Okay, let's see if we can get that fake out first. Let's see if this is the fake out spot. Theoretically make it. It'll be 745. Ah, oh, come on. That's the theme of the day, isn't it? And guys, just for clarity, 'cause again, I get some questions about this, all this kind of stuff. When I tell you guys I get stopped out, obviously I'm telling you my price. My stop loss is going to be set at 745, but I'm watching to see if it gets executed first, right? Once it gets executed, I'm going to tell you guys. So there's going to be circumstances where it hits the price, and for whatever reason, right, it gives me slippage or doesn't fill me, or there's a reporting error or something along those lines. I'm not putting in a different stop loss price than you guys. Not doing any of those things, right? So don't assume I'm trying to fuck you guys or trying to not be transparent over what I'm doing. My stop loss there was set at 762. I didn't get filled at 762. Took about 30 seconds for me to see the price I got filled at. I'm gonna have to wait, right, to tell you guys that. So please, guys, don't turn it into anything that it isn't. Honestly, so much more work to lie. Just slippage, guys. Slippage happens. All right, so we're gonna see if we can get the little fake out here. And yeah, I've had two trades here today with more slippage than I probably should have had on them, which is pretty frustrating. It doesn't happen too often in the indexes. Yeah, being down $1,000 when I probably should be up $1,000 is also a little bit frustrating. The volume is fine still. We just had what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 outlier volume candles. Plenty. Plenty of a base. Hmm. Oh. So we're still dealing with this as our confirmation, right? This 11 a.m. candle is still our confirmation. Just trying to find a reasonable entrance here. All right. Oh, excuse me. All right. So for now, it'd be 793. Okay. Now we want to see a gentle pullback. In the theme of today, a lot of very violent rips without giving me a chance for an entry. Really annoying. And let's see how this closes. Yeah. 818 would be the stop. Give me a gentle pullback. Come on. Barely like one tick away. That's so ridiculous. So freaking annoying. Trying to like lure me into chasing, right? Which is the opposite of what you want to do. Now we want to be paranoid about this pullback to 825, right? To a certain extent. Or ideally, we just reset, get a tighter risk reward. We'll just keep playing this madness until we get an entry or until it's time to leave. Okay, so now would be an 830 stop. Let's see if it fakes out first, or maybe not. Okay, there it is. Now we're looking 825. All right, guys, I'm in 830. Oh, actually, only a partial fill. There we go. I got a full fill now. 830.50 is my average price. 830.50 is my average price. And stop loss is 824. There we go. Fucking finally. Jesus Christ. All right, keep pushing here. Keep pushing. There's 15, 16. All right, guys, I'm taking it. I'm out at 845. I'm taking it. I will potentially reset this and try this again. But I wanted to make sure I finished green, right? That put me green on the day. Fill price was 847.25. And again, we'll reset this, try this again. Stop loss now would be 842. Okay. Oh, just missed it. Ah, what a life. And maybe all things considered there, right? Traded my P&L a little bit too much. Or just like my desire to be green actually cost me a bigger green day. But I'll take a quick 3R win any day of the week, guys. If I get 3R in 30 seconds, I got to take it. Especially the way we've seen this market behavior so far today. I'm not going to complain about that. I'll maybe be a little bit annoyed, but that's at least I'll have something I can say I'm thankful for at dinner tonight. Now we're looking at 852 as a stop. Yeah, this is not the market to pyramid right now. Because the moves, it's not a trending market, right? You want to be pyramiding when it's a trend day. This is a choppy market, not the right moment to pyramid. Yeah, this would be something like this. Right? Because what's going to happen here is if something reverses against you, your P&L is going to decrease twice as fast as what you made. And you're going to get like the rug pulled underneath you and flushed out. That's going to lead to a very, very expensive loss. So, guys, for most people, we should not be thinking about pyramiding before we've even gotten our first payout, right? because it's going to test your psychology and your emotions far more than anything else. So fight back against that greed. Make your money by actually just using the math the way that it's designed. And then as you build up your psychology, your tolerance, your ability to actually follow your rules, then pyramiding will unlock another tier of PNL. But don't skip that step and think that it's going to bail you out, because it will fuck you really hard one day. And that's a guarantee. And if you're not comfortable doing it, I certainly wouldn't do it without me walking you through that process either. Not to be egotistical, but make it easy for yourself to lose small. Pyramiding, if not done correctly, sets you up to lose big. So be responsible. Understood? Hey guys, I'm back in 869.50, 869.50. Stop loss 863. 4 contracts. Beautiful. There's 500, 700, another 1,000. What we really want to be focusing on here is closing as P&L is increasing. There's 1,000. All right, guys, I'm out. 880.50, 880.50. And now turning into a pretty nice day, right? Pretty nice day. Okay, we'll reset this one. Well, guys, look at the volatility of the market is giving us big moves and big follow through without needing much time, right? Well, we don't need to fight this. Nice little bounce back here, all things considered. Turning into a pretty nice day. Good decision. That was a really good decision to close where we did. Yeah, so let's see if this again wants to set back up for us. All right, something like that. So there's our possible fake out. 879 would be the stop. Give this a sec to breathe. Nope, not the right reaction yet. 877 now. Man. Kind of hate the way TradingView shows some of these aggressive price moves sometimes. Drives me freaking nuts. All right, well, that's a good decision. $863 would have to be the stop. I don't like that. It feels more like an elevator down than an elevator up. And how much would you be up if you didn't pyramid? Or what would be the difference? Because approximately, based on what you said you made, my P&L was double yours. So had you not pyramided, right, you probably would have been green. So if you just fought back against that greed, right, and didn't try to make it all back in one go, you would have made it all back in one go. Okay, that's potential fake out again. Always want to get a tight risk reward. And I'm not trying to like rub it in your face, but I'm trying to remind you of the things that you can control that would have made your day better. Let's go, Sam. Nice work, man. Love to hear that. Okay, so 868 we'll be looking at here. Please watch the video on setting up, like entering your orders, guys. If we're sending ask +3, we're not going to get filled. Like I made a video about this last week. You're not going to get filled when you send your orders that way. That is not the way to get your discount. I tagged absolutely everybody in that video. Please review it. Crazy. It's in the trading docs, right? It's called How to Execute Your Trades Inside TradingView. In this video, I discuss the common issues people face with trade execution, which stems from sloppy process rather than bad thesis. Should be no excuse to have not watched that at this point. Like a 10-minute video. Trying to find a tradable risk reward here. I don't know if I really want to touch this until it breaks out of this wick range. Okay, we're out of that range, increasing outlier volume. Now let's see the little fake out under 890. Not so little at this point. 885 for now. We're looking for the elevator bounce. We haven't really gotten the elevator bounce yet. That's better. Ooh. There we go. All right, 882. Be patient here, guys. Be patient. I think this is probably a pass. There's a fake out under the confirmation. It'll be 873. Ooh, okay. Now I can talk myself into this. Trying to get a pullback for some reasonable position sizing, but not getting it yet. Send me a screenshot, Sonia. I can't really help diagnose that right now with that information. I wouldn't feel super confident with that as my stop loss. But I also don't feel super confident that I'm going to get a pullback into like this area where I would like my entry. I mean, maybe. Okay, there we go. What's my fill price? In at 880. Guys, in at 880. Stop loss 73. Feel early. All right, much better. There's 400, almost 5. I'm turning into a great day. Okay, guys, I've closed at 84.50. I've closed at 84.50. I didn't like how I felt early, so I'm just going to take the quick little profit. I think I maybe can get a better entry on this. Let's trade number 7. Felt early, felt too frothy on my entry. Oh, quick 270 bucks. I'll take it. And a good decision, right? Very good decision. Another little fake out. Okay, so stop now would be 872. I mean, I'd probably want to see. I don't know if I need to see anything else. There's the fake out already on that previous candle right at close. Now it's just about finding a reasonable entry. 872. Hey guys, I'm back in 874.75. Stop loss 872. 5 contracts. I have like 2 points of risk. There's the retest. Ooh, don't like that. That was stressful. All right, I'm out. Try this again. Didn't like that. Closed for a $100, a $50 win. No. Yeah, maybe that was a bit of a panicky move. I'm not sure if I needed to have closed that, but I'm okay with that. I'll go 875. Okay, good decision. All right, I think I'm probably done. easy moves of the day seemingly are over, or at least like it's too frothy at the price action that I'm trying to trade right now that I'm probably just flirting with disaster. Through two trades in a row where I felt early and got out before a decent flush. So I don't think I need to do anything else here. I'm pretty happy with the trading day. That's a nice little bounce back session. That puts me at 1788 on the day. How's everyone else looking? Everyone else kind of within that striking distance here this morning? Yes, no, maybe, hopefully. That's pretty good, Nick. So yeah, about a third of the risk per trade. That makes sense. More action today than I probably should have had, all things considered. Yeah, nice work, Mikey. Well done, Michaela. That's a really good job, guys. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Just 1200. Think about your language there, Brent. 1200 is a fantastic day considering you've been working for less than 2 hours. Right? Like it's very easy for us to forget how significant a number is. You know, okay, yo, I didn't make $10,000 here today. Who cares? Right? You weren't $10,000 away from feeling rich anyway. That wouldn't have changed your life. So why impose that like limiting belief on yourself that if you don't hit it, it's a failure or whatever? It's not the reality. This is actually worth. I've got this thought in my head, worth talking about it before everyone kind of filters out. But very start of the session, right? We talked about which fighter you want to be. Do you want to be the fighter who waits for me to call out my entries and then looks to get my entry or better, or do you want to be the fighter who, once I have my trade set up, right, you find your own entry under the reference price? Today, right, is a day where markets move very, very quickly. And so the fighter who was picking their own entries was in a better situation or more likely to be profitable here today versus the fighter who would have waited for the retest of my entry price. I think the retest happened on about 50% of the trades here today, but not on every single one of them. That doesn't mean, right, that technique is wrong or that technique is incorrect. You just got a visual here of, hey, these are the pros and cons. This is going to happen here sometimes, and it's a part of the game. So my recommendation, right, is when you choose which direction you want to go or which fighter you want to be, you don't one day go, okay, today I'm going to be waiting for Michael to say he's in and then get his price or better. And then the next day you're going to be, oh, I'm going to pick my entries. And then the next day you're doing this and you're doing that. Right? So it's very important to understand that the consistency of executing your technique is ultimately what's going to make you money. Please don't fall in love with 1 day's worth of data or 1 day's worth of sample size just because you maybe didn't have as big of a day as you dreamt of, or you could have had you used the other technique. doesn't mean that that's going to be the most profitable thing tomorrow or the most profitable thing at the end of 100 trading days. So, yes, I can understand that it's discouraging, but it's discouraging because of just the self imposed belief, not because of anything that the market did or anything that you actually did yourself personally. So, I would really recommend, guys, that you don't beat yourself up about it because it's not going to make you a better trader. Instead, right, focus on the variables you can control. Some trades aren't going to pull back and give you the retest. So be it. That's going to be a part of a part of it. If you want the certainty of only taking trades that I'm in, that's the price you're going to have to pay effectively, right, to have that certainty. So don't overcorrect. Don't panic. Don't go bitching and moaning now here that, oh my gosh, this game is rigged against me. I'm never going to make any money. It's always going to feel rigged against you when you're looking at it on a day-to-day basis and you're riding that P&L roller coaster. But if you give yourself an opportunity to learn, hey, what did I learn today? What can I focus on for tomorrow? How can I improve? You can get off of that roller coaster. You become process focused. You can actually start learning from your mistakes and you can start to make money when you otherwise wouldn't. The other thing to note here, right, is that we always overrate our ability to have made money by trading an exception or doing something that would have broken our rules. I never look at a trade, especially one that I don't know, say like I ignored a stop loss on one of my fake outs, right? Or I ignored or I didn't set a stop loss on one of my trades. And let's say that I got in here at just for exaggeration purposes, right? But let's say I got in here at 750, right? Nearly bottom tick the low of the day. Mentally, I assumed that I would have closed at this 897.50 and I would have made all this money. But that is not the reality, right? Starting a trade with a mistake means I'm going to make a mistake before I ever peak out and maximize my P&L. And so don't overrate your ability to have made money by breaking your rules, right? Because it's just the power of hindsight makes it look so obvious and, oh my gosh, this, that, and the other. But that's not true, right? You have no evidence to suggest that you actually would have executed with that precision. So don't hold it against yourself that you didn't. It's just torture. So find the technique that you're happy with, right? Stick with it. Be honest with yourself and your assessment of your ability to trade it. And then focus on improving the quality of your process because that will improve the quality of your P&L. Yeah, that's perfect, Kathy, right? And the more that you hold yourself accountable to that and the more that you actually study that, the more confident you're going to feel eventually taking your own entries, right? Finding your own rhythm and being selfish with your own decisions because that's ultimately how you make money, right? Like I'm big believer guys that you can copy my trades and make money. But when I look at the vast majority of people's executions who are quote unquote copying my trades, they aren't copying them, they are chasing them. And the difference in P&L once that occurs, it's night and day because we're no longer trading the same strategy, we're no longer trading the same risk management, and everything is then set up for you to lose more and make less. And that's a losing combo of information. So there's no perfect solution, just the perfect one for you. And the more that you actually embrace that reality, the better you're actually going to be able to copy my technique. All right, guys. Any other questions here? Any other questions? Any other questions here, team? Any other questions? Love you, Ian. What was the damage today? How'd you do? Let's go, man. Congratulations. $1,500 is fantastic. Well done. Good man. All right, guys. We'll see you like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Truth be told, today I'm probably going to be a little bit MIA. I've got some family plans for Thanksgiving, and I got to end up in the kitchen here pretty soon to get food ready for everybody. But yeah, same deal like always, everybody. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll hopefully crush another strong trading day. I think that puts us at like, I don't know, how many green days is this now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 green days in a row. So can't really complain about that. And we'll keep controlling the variables we can control and going from there. One thing I'm going to do a little bit of an analysis on, maybe not today, because I don't know if I'm going to have too much time, but I want to compare the slippage between TopStep X and some of the other prop firms that I've been using. I have a sneaky suspicion that the slippage is starting to get worse and worse on TopStep X, which if that ends up being the case, then I'm going to shut down those accounts. But I'll let you guys know. I'll spend probably this week. That'll be like my project for this week to figure out and determine. But yeah, I'll let you guys know. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day, team, and we'll talk soon.